boy. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Geek Cypher. Sweet baby Jesus. These guys were already yelling at each other before we started.
He came at swinging, talking to me.
My God. Okay, you guys continue the argument now that we're actually on the show.
No, man, let's give it a little background. What's up, people? Geektastic Cypher episode, after the Super Bowl, where I'm about to bust Dave's ass. Beat him by 3 points in overtime.
That was so, dude, every time.
Listen,
that moment
I'm not a Niners fan, but I felt for them.
Yeah, that felt scripted.
No love for the 69ers. There was a lovely post, and I think it was Whoopi from The Color Purple, and she's doing this hand motion, and she's like, "I put a juju until you do right by Colin Kaepernick."
Oh Lord! Oh, it was them that
Lord.
him.
That was his team.
Oh, that was his team.
That was the team.
So it's like the Babe
karma. Then
isn't that the Babe Ruth curse? Didn't Babe Ruth have a curse for Boston because
the Bambino or Gambino? Yeah, they traded him. What was it? Was it Boston?
Yeah, it was Boston.
It was Boston. Boston traded him to the Yankees, and they just never won ever.
Yeah, but then the Yankees won everything. I mean, fuck Boston. But you see, with the Niners, I didn't know about Kaepernick, and now after seeing that hard fought game.
I think
Kaepernick used him in the 49ers clothing, and then the next season, nothing.
No, I know. I think it was more just a factor of because we didn't see him in the uniform. It's been so many years, and everything's news cycle, right? So eventually, you stop thinking about him as he's related to the team that let him go, and you just think of him as a guy who got shafted by the NFL. So, but yeah. I guess the curse will live on, and may the 49ers never win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, of course, especially after that. And I guess for Pat Mahomes, way to phone it in and still win. My man. The throws he was throwing, I mean, geez,
Hey, man.
That defenseman
when you're number one, you don't even have to show up.
True. But if the defenseman on the Niners did not mess up on that final play, it was just that one play.
I just don't even understand that play. Why was you're talking about the play where the defenseman doesn't go after Mahone? He goes after the other guy?
Yeah, where he doesn't sack him.
Yeah, and I watched it back, and you can see he goes to the left very clearly, and there's no reason for him to not have seen Mahone. So see, that's when people start to say stuff like, "Well, this feels scripted."
Yeah, man, exactly. Yeah. Because it's like they're like, "Hey, bud, throw the game." You're like, "What do you mean, throw the game? Throw the game." You see your boy who busted up his Achilles tendon as he ran on the field. Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't see that.
One of the Niners' best runners. Repeatedly, he would always pivot off his left foot to get a head start. Apparently, that causes micro tears in your Achilles tendon. So when Mans went onto the field, he did that again. Whoop-a-lie! Fucked up his whole shit. Ripped up his whole Achilles tendon on game day, bro.
Well, remember, don't feel too bad. Remember when the Seahawks lost because they just wouldn't give it to the Beast?
Marshawn, yeah.
And he was like, that's the play you're gonna okay. He just sat down and chilled. He's like, all right. I guess I'm not getting a ring this year. I don't care.
Say, great game to work to make up for I liked the halftime show. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It was fun. I thought it was a good performance. I thought Usher. I have a lot of friends who are just like, Usher wasn't great. He was sweating. I'm like,
Usher's old.
No, okay.
He's allowed.
To all your friends, F them.
Yeah.
Anybody that says, "Oh, Usher sweated," Usher was giving us a how do I put it? A
crash course
James Brown performance.
Yeah.
There was no backing track.
Yep.
This man is actually dancing, actually singing at the same time, doing all the moves, doing everything.
Rollerblading.
He's singing live.
Yeah.
He's singing. He's giving you everything.
I'm not gonna say F them. I feel like they're allowed to.
I apologize. That's a little strong.
I'm not gonna say that, my friends. No,
but
people actually perform. When people actually perform and they're actually sing, it's two things. It's a bunch of cardio they're doing.
I feel like if I walk into work and I'm just like, my buddy Joe said F y'all.
I apologize. Let me bring it down. That was a 12.
No, keep it at 12. Keep that energy, baby. Keep that energy, man.
That's a 12. I need to be.
You know why?
That guy's been in the game for so long. He's almost 50, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
40 something. He's almost 50, dancing his butt off. Again, like I'm saying, James Brown level of performance, just going at it.
James Brown level of
bringing out other people. Bringing out, huh?
James Brown levels of taking your girl too.
So before we started this podcast,
Can't trust that, man. Just saying.
Skinny made fun of Dave for having a Green Lantern hat in a Marvel episode because we're likely going to talk.
You just came at him right out the gate.
I always mess with Dave on his DC love. You know?
I'm just painting the picture because I want people to know where the energy came from. And then Dave pivoted back with Mr. Take Your Girl, Usher. And then it's turned. They started full on having the debate before we started the show, and I had to be
I believe he said, "At least I'm not a weirdo who has a problem with somebody hugging your girl with their arms wrapped around her mid-pelvic waist."
That is the worst paraphrasing of what I said. That is the absolute lying version of what I said.
I'd like to.
You could go with that if you want.
Let me
tell the court that it's not his hand was not there for more than 3 seconds.
Yo, the next time one of your friends back hugs your girl with a chubby on, I'm gonna look at you and smile.
With a chubby on. Oh,
wait, you looking at his crotch for the chubby? What do you?
Did you go into their DMs and then determine what happened?
Did you have a 4K or 8K image with slow-mo?
Don't get me wrong. It's a safe thing
to do.
Guys. With a female like Alicia Keys to rub against you, that's a just natural reaction. I won't deny that, but you can't full on say that it happened.
The only documented person I know had a full-on chubby during a live performance was Wyclef Jean when he was with Shakira.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Look up that performance.
No, was she grinding on him?
Wyclef is covering his crotch with his Haitian flag.
Did she grind him?
Huh?
Did she grind on him?
I don't know if it was a grind. I think I can't remember if it was a straight-on grind or not. But he was covering his crotch.
I would say you don't need to go and find a hard Wyclef. You can avoid that. I'm just saying.
Word. You know better what? Than a soft
I'm just saying when a dude.
Oh no!
You wait. It's chubbying. He will try to hide it. He'll try to like. Oh my goodness!
I'm just gonna say on natural happenings, usually, if you're hugging an attractive woman from behind, and she might give you a hip or a giggle, right?
But the whole point of the song is called "My Boo."
Let me tell you about that because you weren't in the conversations.
Okay,
we don't need you to profess your fake love and convey it like it's a music video for a song that's 15 years old at a Super Bowl. We know what the song is called. We get it. We know the concept. We get it. You could have done that whole thing with Alicia Keys being the popcorn giving girl. You're Usher at the movies, date with the next chick. She's singing to you like my boo. You're singing to her like my boo. And that's respectful. Not some, hey, we work together. You're my boo. Something. Suck my dick, Swizz Beats. Like,
oh my Lord.
Are we having this argument because of what happened with CeCe Palmer? Is it CeCe Palmer that happened with?
No, Kiki.
Yeah. Kiki. Am I saying the right name? Am I saying the right person?
You are.
No, but you know what I'm talking about. When she went to go see Usher.
Yeah, and her baby daddy had a whole heart attack.
Had a whole meltdown about
it. Started tweeting all sorts of my woman this, my woman
that. Was she twerking on him? That's why I just need to listen. Okay.
No, she went to have a ladies' night out, and he was like, "Oh snap! It's the girl I worked with on another project. Right. How you doing?" And they talk, and he's singing to her, and then he's like leaving, and then he was like all upset. You're a mother. How could you be doing that? And it's like,
and the husband's out of place.
Your girl was bad when you met her. That's why
I know, huh? Yo, big fact. Kiki Palmer has been out here looking the finest since day one, and you went and got lucky, bagged yourself one of the hottest curvy women, had a baby with her, and then you expect her to go out.
Now you want to cover her up? Just cover it up. There's no cover it all.
You guys are speaking about apples and oranges, though.
How?
I'm
just saying the same variable is Usher. Is what I'm just saying. So
but that's not the variable I'm talking about. The variable is Usher, but it's his level of respect. Kiki Palmer and him, they work together. That's cool. I don't know your husband. Fuck that nigga. Cool. Usher knows Swizz Beats. 110% knows Swizz Beats. That's like Wendell. I know you from time. Brian, I know you from time. Dave, I know you from time. Okay. If I ever produce a song and I do a duet with your fiance, your wife, your partner, right? and we shoot a video and that's a hit song, there is never any situation ever where I am jokingly, friendly, or whatsoever hugging your girl from behind and wrapping my arms around her waist, and we're all like kikiing and shit.
I would say though, Jaws, I'll let you go right after this. I would say though, as entertainers, there is a difference with what they're doing. It's a performance, just like if it was a movie and they had an intimate scene. I feel like, because that's what I was saying to you before. You were saying like, I don't know, I don't feel like it would be the same thing. But in my opinion, if they were to do if the music video was them doing that, would we still have the same energy, and would we still feel like Swiss should have said something, or Usher? You know, like, I'll make it super quick. Coy Leroy it did the music video with Busta, and people are just like, oh, he should have talked to her dad before she did the music video with him out of respect, because he has her out here in all these. And I was just like, but she's a grown adult. Why does she need her father's permission? Why does Busta owe her father a call to be like, hey, yo, your daughter's going to be in the music video because she's a banging artist, and I want to help, I want to like make moves with her musically. And then people are just like, no, he should have spoken to her. And I'm always just like, but why? Like, Usher, Swiss, Alicia, Coy Leroy, Busta, all entertainers. The whole idea is that you're
all
supposed
grown adults within this entertainers world.
Sorry, Jaws. I forgot.
I was gonna ask. Was my boo was on the
Confessions?
not Confessions, but it was like Confessions part. Like it was like a re-release, and that was an extra song because it came out
like
after.
the deluxe or something.
Something like that. So my question is, was this song made before or after Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys broke up with their respective?
Most likely before.
Way before.
So Usher and her could have smacked, and we don't even know.
Come on,
I mean,
fine.
Don't leave your girl around me. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna repeat that
like,
over and over.
I really liked how when Beyonce and Sean Paul performed "Baby Boy."
Right, that only happened once. Notice,
Awards, but they were searching so hard for drama because they kept cutting to Jay. They kept cutting to Jay constantly, cutting to Jay. Oh, he's getting closer. He's getting closer. Jamaican man's getting closer to Beyonce. Cut to Jay. Cut to Jay.
Yeah. You also notice how that only happened once. They never performed that song again.
Well, I also find that with
I mean,
I don't know. I guess like
Beyonce's out here performing at a different level now. No offense to Sean Paul.
I was gonna say, like, I remember when Nicki Minaj went to Trinidad for Carnival, which just so happened this week on the Tuesday, and she brought her husband, and she was performing a song with Iowa George. Iowa George went to whine on her, but usually whining doesn't mean anything,
right?
And the husband got all mad and like almost kicked up a fucking scene.
Yeah, because whining may not mean in your culture, but don't come here around that.
No. Not don't come here. You're in my country.
Right. Yeah.
With my American wife song.
She's not American. She's Trinidad,
bro. She's from here. I'm not from
Are you
here.
saying you haven't been to the West Indian Day Parade but you haven't been to Jump Up in New York?
But she's West Indian.
She can be West Indian. I understand she is Trinidadian. Sure.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, it's the levels of respect. It's not even about, okay, she's a grown-ass woman. She can make her own decisions. I'm not even saying that they shouldn't. I'm not saying that they shouldn't accept, because if you're Alicia Keys, what are you going to be like? Get off me. Like, no, you're not. You're going to smile with it. What I'm saying is, from Usher's standpoint, Swizz Beats. You know what that one move might do to some people, or even have people say. And out of respect level, just keep your hands, just don't do it.
Okay, but question. What if he asked Swiss and everyone was okay with it?
Then we will never know. But the way you showed me Swiss's response this morning, it was like, oh, we over here. We not mad about them things. Y'all energy's in the wrong place. Like, I think you're a teenager right now.
I think the reason he said all that is just because everyone's always going to be in your ear. I mean, Wu-Tang Clan almost broke up because people were in their ear. Right. And when they actually sat down and talked, there was no issues.
I feel like I'm just forever saying, if you remember the Boondocks episode where Tom's wife meets Usher?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's our nobody.
If we have all the same respect and trust levels,
and also you have to remember
like that.
when you have to remember too, when Tom was doing Burn,
Yeah.
his wife calls him in the middle of that performance, and she's like, "Wait, are you doing the Usher Burn thing? Oh, I gotta go. Bye, take care." So it's not the first time he's been in his feelings and did the song.
I don't call it being in your feelings. I call it, listen, my G. If we're both men and we both understand respect as men, you're not draping up my wife from behind.
The funniest part of all of this, though, is your perspective comes from us never being able to find out if they were cool with it.
Yeah.
Even though Swiss said he was cool with it.
I don't believe that shit. That's Instagram like propaganda. He didn't say anything.
Let Dave go. Let Dave go.
Go ahead, Dave.
Go.
As apparently the protagonist to this conversation, or the antagonist to this conversation, like to know last. So first thing is most importantly first. It's because it's a dope hat. That's why I wear this hat. That's what's more important than this conversation. This hat's better than this conversation. 1, 2. Second most important thing, it's not the halftime show. It wasn't Taylor Swift. The second most important thing is there was a team that have created and accomplished their dreams. Third of all, they are called professionals. And as Brian has pointed out, they are giant professionals who have done this for a minute. Second of all, you don't think there's this thing called rehearsals? Now, if that shit was not done in rehearsals, then complete. More like, as you say, they are friends. They know each other. Something does, if they have respect, definitely there was a phone call. And if, God forbid, Swiss's wife respects their marriage, she probably gave him a little FYI. This is happening.
Right. Yeah. I would also say it's more Alicia who speaks to Swiss and not Usher because they don't own her. So,
and last point, with the type of entertainers they are, with the type of music that they do, and with the choice of song in question, the concept of them getting close is obviously, I wouldn't use the word expected, but I would also use a term not out of the realm of possibilities that they knew something like this was going to happen.
I like the way you
and if there was some form of concern, because if they actually had some form of history in the past, then they should have never done that. All of which, they are 3 damn big adults, giants of industry, who all know how the game goes, and they know how a payday goes. They're not getting paid to go up dressed up like nuns. They're there to entertain.
Nuns.
But, and also, can you imagine how much the spins went up on my boo on platforms?
Yeah.
After they do that performance and he grabs her up and they get all cuddly and people start like the nostalgia factor of those who saw the original and the new generation who are like, oh, I never watched the music video. Now everyone's spinning it. I mean,
there are people right now that are going to thank them in October for the babies they are having because of that performance.
Y'all are dancing away from the damn topic.
It's not damn truth. And you're reading 2 seconds. I'll give it back.
Yeah,
I'll shut up afterwards. If you read that response from Swiss was one of respect, one to again address you're focusing on the wrong thing. And personally, as someone who does not know the scenario at all, but does understand the concept of like dialogue and messaging, his messaging was kind of like, what, you don't think we didn't talk about it?
Right.
Keep in your lane, get out of my business, focus on the money.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I really do think the funniest part of this for me, Skinny, is that you're like, we will never find out if he was cool with it. He literally posted and said he was cool with it, and you're like, I don't believe him.
People post every day. I don't see how in this one situation you cannot imagine that post did not read a little too clean. Stop.
I mean, yeah, someone
for sure. A publicist.
This is a man who, to get this girl, cheated on his wife to get with her, and Alicia did the same shit. And you're telling me you're the most secure.
So your concern is the fact that you think a cheater is always a cheat. That's different.
That's not really all different because it all leads to First of all, the what I posted that I wanted Brian to share because I could try to share and it wouldn't work.
Oh, yeah, okay. Which one did you want me to share?
So the one that's the big, the one in the corner where it really shows like Alicia Keys kind of smiling, the split between Usher's wife reacts to Alicia Keys' Super Bowl performance, and you see like Alicia Keys like big smile and whatever. I told in our conversation before, I was saying the look on her face is shock, like, oh snap, this nigga really did that, and she's like, ha ha, oh my god, this is great. Versus like if it was rehearsed, I feel like it would be a little bit more her. I'm not pegging her as a great actress, so I'm thinking if it was rehearsed, telling her,
I'm not picking her as a great actress.
I deny that based off her other music videos. I'm just gonna say that.
I'm surprised we're not talking about Alicia Keys' voice cracking.
Oh yeah.
And then if you go and watch it on YouTube,
they fixed it. Yeah, they fixed it. So this is
also at the beginning, when I watched it on, I don't know if this showed up on the actual halftime. It says rated U, may cause singing, dancing, sweating, possible relationship issue.
Yeah, they did play it right before the performance.
Jesus.
They did. So for those of you who are listening to this on Spotify or something, don't forget you can always click if you're listening on Spotify to watch the video because we upload the video to Spotify. So if you're listening to this right now, click and watch along with us as we're looking at this image of Usher with his wife and then Usher with Alicia Keys. I mean, again, Skinny, ultimate point that I still think I can't really deny or get over is the idea that, and I get what you're saying. You feel that the PR message that Swiss wrote, because people were reacting, like Jaws was saying, people are in everyone's ears, everyone's talking about it, whole big conversation about, it's disrespectful, blah, blah, blah.
That was my girl.
So he posted, for those of you who don't know, he posted on IG explaining like, you guys are focusing on the wrong thing. Look at this dress that took over the whole stadium. Look at how
all this fucking...
Yeah, so as you can see by Skinny's reaction, Skinny does not feel that any of that was legit, which I don't know.
Look at it. Ryan, someone does something to you and like publicly everybody knows that you may be mad. And you know that if you say publicly you're mad, you're just letting and feeding into the media shit and whatever. When actually you want to be left alone and probably want to be mad on your own right, smoke your herb, go home and chill out. Swiss ain't gonna come out and be like, yeah, man, fuck that nigga. I'm mad about that shit. Like, he's not. He's not.
So again, he can never tell you he's okay with it. You would just never believe him.
It's not that I would never believe him, but like, I would have to have more than like an Instagram PR stunt that says, look at the dress she was wearing. It's a pantsuit. No,
the only reason why you send out the messages is people, the only reason why he has to do the PR stunt is because people keep throwing it in his face. He's just trying to get people to shut up.
If
he had a problem with it, he would say something.
Yeah, don't you think it would give
everybody else calling him? Everybody
give you way more
Bounty Killer calling him.
There would be a Will Smith Chris Rock thing happening. That would like
imagine he goes on Shay like Cat Williams and is out here talking about me and Usher ain't cool no more. Like there's no version of this that ends better if he's angry about it, because he ends up, and I know you said it's not the same thing, but he does end up having the same energy as Keke Palmer's ex, because it's like, you don't own this person. No more. Yeah.
They ain't together no more. 2, she was in an Usher music video talking about
exactly.
They made money off of that.
Can you imagine?
Who didn't make money off of that? The baby father.
Exactly.
He out in the cold. He outside in the cold.
I think it's, I don't know.
And to answer a question Skinny asked before.
Yeah,
if like my fucking random accountant friend and my like nurse wife decide to do that in public, I would be pissed. There's a difference between
because they're thrown in the entertainer category.
No, because I know that they have a profession. That's like saying, for example, Colin Jost is married to Scarlett Johansson. Does he have the right to be angry at her every time she's in a movie where she has sex or gets close to someone in a movie?
Well, it's not okay. You're again
is rehearsed.
You're dancing along the subject, but you're pretending like you don't understand. It's not that they're professionals and they can't do what they're doing. I'm saying, as a level of respect, regardless of your profession, if I know your husband and I know how I would feel if that same shit happened to me, I'm not out here doing that shit.
Okay,
but it depends if disclosure. Disclosure is the most important thing, and we don't know.
You keep saying we're dancing about it, but we don't know how he feels, except for the fact that he literally wrote how he felt, and you don't want to acknowledge that.
No, but then you guys are just like Dave's reasoning of, I know it's their profession, and they're professionals, and they're.
But they are.
So the fuck what?
But what I'm saying
that
is,
means they can just do whatever sexually to each other because they're professionals and they have an agreement.
If they're professionals,
Sorry, you know what I mean, but that doesn't make sense.
But what I'm saying is that if they are true professionals, which for everyone involved, in order to be there this long, they have to be real professionals. There had to have been
Industry's
some
small.
form of discussion. And again, if anyone has anything to say, I think it should be Alicia Keys who went up to her husband, should have went up to her husband and say, like, yo, we're doing this. Are you cool? Yes or no? Then if Usher did something beyond whatever was discussed,
Right.
then sure. But we don't know. And based
Right.
off of, again, for sure, a publicist helped him write that message because he
Of
didn't
course.
want the negative. He didn't want his message to be misconstrued.
Right.
But if his message was to say, I'm cool with it, that's exactly what that message was. Now, I'll say this out loud. If they get divorced later this year, Skinny, I'll buy you a Coke. Is that going to make you happy? Like,
Skinny,
you know what I mean?
Skinny. I'm going to buy you a Stone Cold Stunner. You talk about buying me a Coke. This is
Make it
right.
a piece.
Big facts though. If they end up divorced by the end of the year because of
You're
this
right.
thing, we will all come on here and give you all the flowers. But I do not.
Okay, you know what? I will hold that. That's it.
Yeah,
Cool.
there you go.
One thing.
But if it goes into 2025, that's just because they had problems.
Yeah.
Give it
Okay,
a
Josh, hit us.
I was gonna say one thing I've learned is that in the past 3 years, everybody's really bad at reading people. Everyone thinks they're this big expert about body language,
Right.
and we think, oh, well, if that was me, well, I'm not Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
I'm not performing Superbowl. I'm not that person. So everyone behaves and acts in their own way. Nobody is gonna act how you think they should act just because you feel that they're not portraying enough emotion. They're not more reserved. They're not doing I'm gonna knee him, I'm gonna elbow him in the gut to get him off. Like, everybody's different. Everyone reacts differently. So,
right, so the next video
I want to say that I know everyone feels like, oh, I'm reading that and I know how to read. And they're like, sometimes you're really bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I'm actually going to talk about the show, something similar that you're talking about, but I'm watching Traders, and in Traders UK season 1, one of homeboys is a magician who talks about how he can read body language, and he starts telling people, I know for a fact this dude's a trader. And then the dude who's not a trader says to him, you're about to ruin your career, because when I go up there and I tell everybody I am a faithful, and you've been saying that your special skill is being able to read people, and you're completely wrong, you're about to mess your money. Like, you're going to mess up the bag. And the guy's just like, don't worry about me. And it's just like, no, I think you have to be aware of the fact that you have for multiple episodes said, I have special skills to read people, and I know this person is a trader, and then be fully 100% wrong. And it's just like, buddy, like I'm not hiring you. If I'm an executive and I want to have a party, and this is the guy that they're saying, oh, we can hire this mentalist who can read people. Oh, what's he known for? Oh, he did a season of Traders and he did all up. Sounds good. I don't want that idiot on my. Can we get a real? Can we get the guy that was on the CBS show? That's a real mentalist. You know what I mean? Like. Anyways, we gotta go into to more segments because
I respect you, Dave. I see your point. I see you.
Pivot.
Next video shoot, I'm going to be professional. See how that goes.
If they get divorced in the year, I give
flowers.
it all.
Flowers on flowers.
I give it all.
Flowers on flowers.
I'm putting a disclaimer. I'm putting a footnote in my statement.
Yep.
I'm not saying not, but Lord knows in a year if they're still together. Are you going to turn around and do the same, Skinny?
Usher has an agenda. That's all I'll say.
But P.S.
Right.
P.S.
Wait, no, Dave, come on.
I think his agenda is to get people to come see him in Las Vegas. That's what that whole performance was.
Big facts. Guys, we got View the Right Thing. Speaking of this, Jaws, you wanted to talk about the short film, the promo for the Usher performance that was released by Apple, which I thought was crazy. Really good. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was crazy. It was good.
Yeah.
Blue Man Group is in there. What's his name?
Lil Jon. Lil Jon's in it.
Lil Jon, Tosh B. Henson. Wesley Snipes.
Oh yeah,
Leslie Snipes.
No, Leslie
I
Snipes.
love that.
My cousin.
But
what about Wesley? Oh, he's my cousin. Lord. And Wesley Snipes is in this mode where he's like doing more comedy, straight comedy.
It was funny.
Who's playing Pee-wee again? Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Paak's in there.
Yes, I forgot that he's in there.
Tim, CEO of Apple, is in there. Ludacris is in there.
Yeah, he calls it.
So the whole thing is almost like kind of similar to Not Knocked Up.
Hangover.
Hangover, like the Hangover. They lost Usher. They were partying.
Yes.
They're trying to find him.
Oh, I didn't even think about the fact that they were doing it. The Hangover.
it was a parody type.
Yeah,
Chris
yeah,
Angel's in there.
Yes.
I didn't
Oh
get
yeah.
that.
Mind Freak. So it's like it's basically like a big ad for Las Vegas
For sure.
and an ad for the halftime show too.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really funny, really entertaining. And like everyone was just having fun, cracking jokes. I liked how Lil Jon wasn't even worried. He was just like he was at the buffet. I need to get me another plate.
Little John, yeah. I remember when I was, because at work we were talking about who do you think's gonna show up, and I was just like, Lil Jon, 100%. I felt like Luda was gonna show up. I didn't think Alicia Keys. I didn't think her. Those two I didn't call. I didn't think will.i.am was gonna show up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, but those
second
were
time
all
on the Super Bowl, right? Or third
right?
time?
Is it?
will.i.am.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I know Black Eyed Peas did the Super Bowl before.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask if they headlined. Yeah, I mean,
they
I thought the short film was good, and I thought it was great hype for the performances, for the performance itself. And I gotta say, like we were saying at the beginning, I thought the halftime show was pretty good. Supposedly one of the longest halftime shows at 13 minutes, a little over 13 minutes. People were saying
It went quick. It was short. I felt it was pretty short, but I also because Usher's been doing this since he was 12.
Oh my god,
remember that?
Jeez.
His first album was underneath his full name, Usher Raymond, and he was like 12 performing.
My sister has that tape.
Oh damn,
I have that tape.
His
Like
sister.
And so like he can't give you everything, but he's giving you like, okay, maybe this verse here, this interlude there, this over here, this over there. I liked when it's like when her came out and she was playing the guitar riff, and I was like, oh, that's cool. They're kind of honoring Prince, and they're honoring like, oh, usually you get a little rock. You get a little rock and roll going and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, there's more rock. There's no guitars. Well, there's your guitar.
There's your guitar.
Yeah, dude, she was
badass riff, and she's like,
she killed it. She killed that. When she came out and started playing, I was just like, God damn.
That was
Gabby.
her?
Yeah, Gabby, her. Yeah. I know I'm using her government name, but like you see her,
it's easier that way. Like someone posted online that was like, who's that? That's Alicia Keys. Mom, no, dad says it's Alicia Keys, me, which is the mom.
Yeah.
She was like, no, that's not Alicia Keys. Mom, my daughter, that's her.
That's her. Yeah,
no, that's not Alicia Keys.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's her. It's like, the artist, no, H-E-R, her. Mom and dad look at each other. Oh,
I know. That's why I often call her Gabby, because I'm just like, there's so many people who, and when she first started, she started by using her government name, just like Usher. Like a lot of artists actually do. Lana Del Rey, a whole bunch of them. So when they start out, they're just like, oh, I'm gonna go under my name, and then if it doesn't pop, I can pivot, which is hilarious.
Boy, did they ever? Yeah, for real. Look at Lana.
One thing I did like about the performance is when they did in that interlude. They did, I think, Freak League.
Yes.
The interlude for Freak League came out, and then at the end, they did the interlude for Need for Speed Underground.
Yep.
Oh wow! Unlock that core memory to a bunch of people. Like, why is that?
You know why? You know why? Because Little John made the Freak League beat and beat back to back.
Oh, okay.
The same drums. It's literally like it's the same exact beat, just changing some chords, and then
BPM, all the same.
Yeah, same exact.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And I do like that they snuck it when Ludacris was coming out. They snuck in pole dancing.
Yeah.
And they just
welcome to Vegas. We're just gonna walk through these ladies pole dancing real quick on the Super Bowl with all your kids watching. Yo, can we talk super quick about the fact that Nickelodeon had their broadcast of the Super Bowl?
Wait, what?
Yeah, Nickelodeon had its own broadcast of the Super Bowl with SpongeBob and Patrick and two other guys. And then they had like Dora.
They were there.
Yeah, and Dora the Explorer was like explaining the plays.
Nice.
Like they had Dora being like, "That's a 5-yard penalty."
I would have watched this.
Can you say slant pass?
Oh my god,
that was a slant pass,
dude! It was so funny because I watched clips the next day and I was just like, "These people really put the Super Bowl on Nickelodeon and had overlaid augmented reality of the ooze on the 49er team when they lost."
This is not the first time. This is not the first time they've done that.
No, sure. I just thought it was hilarious. Like, you're gonna really come out here and put the ooze on these people being like losers. Like, that's dude,
disrespect.
Supposedly SpongeBob made a joke about Leo only dating 20-year-olds. Like the things people were talking about, I was like, what? This happened? I want to watch it so bad. I would watch all those clips.
Rewatch that. Oh,
I know. Shoot. It sounds so funny.
Wow.
But you know which version to watch next year.
I mean,
it's just crazy. I never thought that Nickelodeon would.
I was gonna say, I think one year they actually did like maybe I think it was during the All-Star, they did like a kids All-Star, and then they had the Super Bowl, but it was like also commentated by Nickelodeon, maybe some kids and stuff, and they added all that stuff and everything like that.
Like
so they're always kind of
augmented reality,
or they something like that. But like I remember like it being a thing with Nickelodeon.
Or I guess that's more just an overlay at that point. But yeah, it's super cool. Honestly, if you can find clips, I would highly recommend it. Just look up Dora talking rules, NFL Super Bowl rules. It's very funny. All right, guys. I saw Madam Web.
Why'd you do that?
Because he hates himself, clearly. This is the third time, fifth time.
He's a masochist.
You've gone and see a movie that no one asked you to go see.
Yep.
What'd you do that for? You didn't know?
Yeah, but actually, you know what? Instead of talking about the bad stuff at Marvel, let's talk about the good stuff at Marvel real quick.
Oh, you're gonna do that for me? I love you.
Fantastic Four. What's up, man? I got your back. Fantastic Four coming to the MCU, officially announced today on Valentine's Day. A picture of the family: Old Blue Eyes, Johnny Storm, Sue Storm, and Reed Richards.
Looking like a timepiece too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like it's gonna be an air piece. It looks like a kind of a '60s kind of vibe with the way the Marvel logo is written.
Family out of time.
Yeah,
let's see how they do with black people. Okay.
Oh God. Already we are worried.
It'll be great.
So for those of you,
Goliath might show up. A young Goliath might show up.
Oh, that would be cool. Oh shit! Yeah. I didn't even think about that, Jaws. That's a good point. Okay, so real quick, I'm trying to find the list. Okay, so Pedro is 48, Vanessa Kirby is 35, Joseph Quinn is 30, Ebon Moss Backrack is 46. Age-wise, I feel like those ages are good. Sure, yes. Shout outs to Janessa, who's not here this week, but yes, age ain't nothing but a number. But Skinny, I think you and I were on the same page with this.
Listen,
Vanessa Kirby for Sue Storm, almost perfect. Like, I want to see her do it, but that is some solid casting. You know, the whole thing about Sue Storm and Marvel 616 is that every fucker is coveting
bang that girl. Yeah, they try to get that girl.
Namor, T'Challa, all of them have been obsessed with going after her. I don't know why, but it is what it is. And I guess these horny comic book writers back in the day were just like, Sue Storm is a hot mom. Let's make everyone fall in love with her, even though she didn't have kids yet. But she was the first lady of Marvel with Reed Richards as the kind of the father figure, the first family of Marvel. With that said, we had some thoughts about Pedro. Skinny, do you want to say it? Do I want to say it? How do you want to?
Listen, I'd like an actor that could do more than 3 movies before they need to replace him. Pedro has opted out of being in the Mandalorian suit because he's like, listen, I don't need to do this. I'll just do the voiceover. Is that not a sign of old and tired? I'm just saying.
I mean,
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. But how are you going to be Reed Richards then?
I don't,
because he's not wearing a mask the whole time.
Right.
I
don't think he's too old to do it. But I do agree with you that I'm hoping, because not everyone's Tom Cruise is what I'm going to say.
And he's no Carl Urban either.
Right. Absolutely not.
Right.
Straight up.
Wait, am I saying the right actor's name?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank
you. You meant Judge Dredd, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that boy looks young.
Dredd, Bones.
Young looking. All this.
Yeah. Okay, Dave, hit us.
All I'm going to say is this. My issue, issue number 1, just in general, not even like, footnote, don't mess this one up.
Yeah,
like don't mess this one up. Like seriously, like don't get me wrong. Your first one with Chris Evans and all them, it wasn't the worst representation.
No,
but it's not gone anywhere but downhill ever since that.
Yeah,
to be honest,
even that guy looked younger as Reed.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And I agree that there's with some of this casting, specifically with Pedro, there's not long-term foresight here.
Yeah,
and like straight up, like why did Phase 1 work? Because you casted people that are at an age that you could last, like they lasted almost 20 years in their roles.
Yeah.
And let's also be honest, with the exception of like Robert Downey, and sure, Chris Evans was on the up.
I'll add something after.
None of these people were made stars. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that these are all made stars, but Pedro
some B-class people out
but
there.
Like you got to build for tomorrow. It's like a perfect example. If they bring in X-Men, don't get me wrong. Am I happy that Hugh Jackman's going to be in this movie? but they also insinuate very much that they're going to easily erase
Sure.
time or something with what you've already seen in the commercial. Like, I don't want to see anyone from the original X-Men movies. I don't even want to see anyone from the reboot with like the guy who I actually liked, Cyclops, the young Cyclops. I liked him, but like, done.
Oh, I think we're gonna get some of them. I will say, I understand what you guys are saying about Pedro. Yeah. I think the thing with Pedro for Reed Richards for me is, I think they're indicating to us, we do not plan to have the Fantastic Four in the MCU for 20 years. We're not going to be doing. We're not going to be doing the same thing that we did with the phases before. These are going to be a lot shorter, a lot quicker, and I truly believe they're starting to figure out. And I don't know if they're going to do it, but I think within, like I said last time, by 2028, they're winding down. They're winding down. You're not going to do either you're winding down or you really start to put forward the Young Avengers and you start building up a new generation, because you can't do 20 years with the same, like, we still have a Guardians of the Galaxy team, like at the end of the third movie, spoilers, there's a new team that's been put together. So they're out there. They might come back. And Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, and those guys, they're just doing voice work. So it's all good for them. And Peter, Chris, what's his name?
Hemsworth?
Peter Quill.
Pratt.
Oh,
Chris Pratt. Chris. Yeah, all the other Chris's. But Chris Pratt is doing so many things now, and hopefully he maintains the health and can pull a Tom Cruise, and we might get Guardians featured in something. But you're not asking them to star and be the main focus for a bit, and you are going to have to give rise to other people. And I don't know that Pedro is going to be there for 10 years. I don't see it. I don't think we're going to have Pedro doing Reed Richards at 58. No. Vanessa Kirby, maybe still doing Sue Storm. Maybe they'll switch it up. Maybe they'll make Pedro the Maker at some point. Who knows what they're going to do?
They better make him I don't. Even if you make it 3 movies, right? 2025, the next one. So he'll be 49. But he filmed it when he was 48. Then say 2-year break, 2027, right?
Yeah.
Right. Then 2020. Nah, man, like you're done after that. And you're done acting.
and for those of you who think we're being ageist, it's more a factor of we've been watching these movies with these actors for so long that, much like if you're watching sports, when an athlete like 33, right? A lot of retirements at that age in basketball and stuff like that. Now technology's gotten better. People are healthier for longer. They're still playing the game. But when I was younger, that was the age range, like 33 to like 35, they were retiring. Same thing with some of these movies. Yes, you're not running up and down the court and dunking like crazy. But in some of these movies, especially in these Marvel action movies, you got to run. I mean, I'm listening to MCU book, and there's a segment where Samuel L. Jackson goes up to the guy who was directing Civil War, and he's just like, you have me running in this movie, and it's the one thing I don't want to do. He's just like, it's just this one movie, because Samuel L. Jackson literally had something in his contract that says he does not want to have to run like a superhero in these movies.
Yeah.
Well, it's because, like, for example,
it's
like,
the age.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I was gonna say real quick, just look at what's his name? Oh my goodness. Old black actor Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
All the movies he's doing now, he's sitting.
So, oh my God, yes. I just watched him in a 57 seconds, and he spends most of that movie seated.
He's sitting.
But it's also, it's like, no, it's okay. It's just like, it's a perfect example. Robert Downey Jr. He was older when he started, right? But he was that older at an age where he was also aging like fine wine, but like aesthetically. But by the time you get to Infinity War, the makeup is not covering it up.
Right.
You notice, right? And the one thing about comic books is that
they never age.
They don't age because you're not supposed to technically know the passage of time.
Right.
And I think that's where there's one of the faults in some of these, what they're doing now. They're showing like the years and stuff. Don't show me years. I don't need to know the years. I don't want to know.
It works for them as they get older. Like with Iron Man, he aged with it. So him dying, you're like,
Yeah. But here's the other thing, though. And I preached this many times before on this show. When it comes to superhero movies, especially where they are now, you have to go through the James Bond DNA. It's okay to recast because, example, you got Sean Connery. Until you got to Daniel Craig, who actually gave like a timepiece of his performance of James Bond. You had what? Sean Connery, 3-4 other
Roger
people,
Moore.
Roger Moore. You had Pierce Brosnan. What's
Timothy
the common?
Dalton. Yeah.
What's the common denominator? All the history that has happened, they agree that okay, you saw this guy, you have seen him in the past because you fucked with this guy before,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no dates for anything. Sure, technology has changed because we're not trying to fuck around with the audience.
Yeah,
obviously we're not from the
space and stuff.
1960s anymore.
I think I would say the only time they really kind of talked about dates and like they kind of said was maybe like when Pierce Brosnan, GoldenEye, and then they had Judi Dench. She was like, well, it's not the Cold War anymore.
Yeah,
like she actually like says, like they say certain things like that. You can't do the same thing you did in the Cold War. And you're just like, wait, this is the same dude.
It could also just be said, dude. But even in saying that, it's just to say we've finished that point of time in story because we won the Cold War, and as a result of what we did, we're doing this, right? So in my opinion, it's like
it does correlate. It does like directly, especially in GoldenEye, they're using old Soviet stuff.
So for me, it's like you gotta apply, James, if you want to continue, because the thing is, Marvel can keep with all these characters, but you have to bond them. When the guy doesn't want to do the movie anymore, cool, recast him. The only key that you have to do is don't recast with a bad actor. Right. That would be the only thing or bad writing.
Yeah, Skinny, what were you about to say?
Before I bounce, my last thing I'll say is that just as, and I'm not saying like you're not supposed to go after the guap because you just got here and do what you got to do. We only saw Pedro in like 20. When did Narcos come out?
5 years ago.
Yeah, he's been acting for like a good while.
Forever. Yeah,
and
then he popped with Narcos.
Narcos and Game of Thrones. That's where
so he popped with Narcos and Game of Thrones. All right, so man's has been here since he was, let's say, 39. He got on. All right. I understand you try to get in while you fit in, get your money, get out, do what you got to do. You got Wonder Woman money. You got Game of Thrones money. Wow, I forgot about that. You got Last of Us money. Still getting Last of Us money. You have all the Star Wars money. Yeah. You have a movie coming out.
I was gonna say
you got toys. All of it, bro. You could have sat this one out.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's the other thing, and I think that's fair.
Apparently, I heard that Feige was gunning for him because the whole cast was bare white people.
Right.
Hey, cool. I get it. But like, instead of getting a man where you'd have to put white highlights in his hair, y'all just got the nigga with white highlights already there.
Yeah. I mean, I said it to you guys earlier. The whole internet daddy thing that they were doing with him, I feel like Marvel is
leaned in hard.
Yeah,
leaned in hard on that.
Yeah, Marvel saw it and was just like, "Oh, people like him as a dad. Let's make him the father figure of Marvel." Reed Richards.
Was Sue that young? Much younger in the comics?
Sorry,
was Sue Storm that much younger in the comics?
I don't think so.
No, we need to talk about their age gap.
Okay, let's make it clear. What was it?
I don't think they're going to have the age gap in the movie, though. I think it will just be that they're like 5 years apart or something.
It's not. Honestly,
the one pop out Franklin and Valeria in 3 movies.
No.
Oh,
I'm not going to do that. I don't think they're going to go there.
We're going to get those. We are not going to get those kids. I'm telling you.
You know what pisses me off? This is a franchise that deserves maybe like
7 movies.
Technically 5 movies because you need at least 2 dedicated. No. I'm saying like in regards to not the casting and whatnot. I'm talking about like the characters.
Right.
You need 2 to build.
1 to build, 1 to end, which both have to be Doom centric, and then they have. You need you could do a Galactus one. Obviously, you need to do that.
Yeah.
A Puppet Master one would be a Puppet Master, which mixed with Mole Man, I guess, in a sense. Like they have. You have to start incorporating B-list villains because you can't have only A-list villains.
We're gonna
start with Mole.
Yeah, because we're gonna get incursions. That's
right off the rip too.
Yeah, like I feel like they're working towards incursions right now with the multiverse thing because once again, spoilers. But when you see that Photon goes into that alternate reality and is there with Beast from X-Men and Binary, it's just like, oh, they were able to like break up a link, like break the barrier between 2 universes, and I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna be getting incursions at some point.
100%.
And one thing, my one thing about it, and I think it's a miss, and I personally, and maybe it's because of commitments and the people I'm about to name are probably just too busy, and maybe they said you lost the boat because we don't want to do this now.
Yeah,
I really, really do think John Krasinski and his wife should have been tapped. I'm sorry, because they are the perfect age, and they're the perfect age for not just being like they're the perfect age of the characters. They look like them, and they're the
Yeah.
perfect age to age well with this, and they have aged well. Like they could do 20 years.
Thank you,
Yes.
Dave. That's their fallback.
What I find is very funny. Well, no, I don't think John would tie himself up with this because he has his own
That's my-
stuff he's going on.
Yeah,
He has the
that's my
Quiet
concern.
Place series. He's
Yeah.
directing, he's writing all that stuff, or producing it, writing,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, but
And
yeah.
he has his own projects going on. If as well, same with his wife. I don't know if she would want to be tied down. You know, she's a hot commodity. She's been doing other
Right.
stuff too.
Right.
But I mean, that's a good casting decision. That's a good casting point. But would they want to be tied down to Marvel and have limited?
I think a lot of people watched what happened with all the actors that have been in the early phases and saw how long you had to be part of that universe and probably said, that looks cool, but I do not want to do 10 years.
Right.
And I think and then Marvel also realized this is fun, but these people don't want to do 10 years and we don't want to do that many movies on these specific characters. Because that's the other thing. Marvel has so many characters that you don't have to do. Like, granted, we all want them to do the main characters. We want the Fantastic Four. We want the X-Men. We want Spider-Man. I would say no one cared about Iron Man except for nerds like us, but they were able to spin that into something really good. And they did it in the comic books too. So they made the character pretty popular. We wanted Black Panther because he's been doing stuff for a minute and is also connected to the Fantastic Four in the comic books. So you had all these characters that were just like, cool. Gave us a Bucky. Who thought we were going to get a Bucky? I didn't think we'd get Bucky. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think we'd get Winter Soldier. I read Bucky's Winter Soldier, Ed Brubaker stuff, and I would not have thought, oh, Kevin Feige is signing off on that story that early. That's wild. The second Captain America movie, you're going to bring back the dead guy. He's going to be a Russian assassin. You're going to show us how Tony's parents die. All that stuff is fantastic. We got a great story out of that. But these guys don't want to do 10 years again. They don't. And
But I think the other problem is like you don't have to always tell them you're going to commit for 10 years. You know what I mean? You don't have to go down that path. And to be quite honest, like one thing I would maybe consider doing is like, yo, commit to me 3 years. We film them all back to back, but we release them over 10 years.
I mean, I was thinking that too, because especially if you start doing the Young Avengers stuff, you have to film those almost back to back. Those kids are going to age out. Haley Stanfield, is that her name? Haley Stanfield?
Well, she might get to a point where by the time they do it, she might have to get recasted. And that's and it goes back to my James Bond comment, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I also feel like the person that's kind of made it out pretty funny, is probably Hulk.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo, because he's not really in everything. He's tied to it.
Yeah.
But he's just kind of like, I'll show up to She-Hulk. Sure.
But it's funny because
I'm halfway in this other movie. Sure.
the weird relationship with Universal and the Hulk and Marvel benefited him because to release a Hulk movie, they had to work with Universal for the first one with Edward Norton.
Yeah.
And now because they don't want to have to work with Universal, they're just never going to make another Hulk movie until I guess it laps,
which is a shame.
But they'll always do like, this is our character and the Hulk. This is our character, because I don't think Universal has any. I guess they don't have any movie claims on She-Hulk, so they could do the TV show.
Right.
So
but how they do the Hulk is exactly how they should like make other movies of other characters, and that like example, when you read a comic book, there's cameos. There's always cameos. You know what I mean? And when someone does a cameo in a movie, you don't have to always offer them $1 bajillion just to do it. It's like, no, when you make a movie, you get a bunch of Disney money, and when you do a cameo, you'd get cameo money.
Yeah. And you know who's not making any money? Madam Web.
Nice.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I want to see it.
Man.
Folks,
I don't know why you hurt yourself.
Why'd you give them money?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Did they at least say it's Morbin time to kind of connect it all together?
No, they just gave us. First of all, I'll say this, and I 100% expected this to be what happened. And when it happened, I was so very annoyed, but I knew it was coming. You only see them in the costumes like in 2 or 3 flashbacks.
In
Oh.
flashbacks, so not even
Flash forwards, sorry.
Oh, okay.
And I knew that's what was going to happen because based on the story they're telling, it doesn't make sense for them to be in the costumes. But it almost felt like we got played because they focused so heavily on them in those costumes in the trailer. And then you get all those scenes in the movie. Mm-hmm. I think only one extra one was added and was a little different. And then also the ones in the trailer, I think, are longer because the one in the movie was short. Like the Julia, also they changed Julia's last name. I still don't understand why. But Julia hanging from the ceiling that they kept posting so much that she wants to do the hanging from the ceiling, blah, blah, blah. 2 seconds. You show her coming down, shooting the web, and then she's already right side up. And I was just like, what is this?
So just one question. So you have Spider-Woman in it. You have 2 Spider-Women in it, right?
Yes.
You have Jessica Drew's in it. You have Julia.
No, not Jessica Drew.
It's
Julia Carpenter, Maddie, and Anna Corazon, I think. So Aranya, Spider-Woman, Madam Web, and I actually don't know Maddie's character's spider name, but I imagine she's also a Spider-Woman. But honestly, you watch this movie.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
No, but it's because I want to ask a question because this is something I'm not aware of. I've never really read them, but I've seen images. Are they all have the ability of Spider-Man, or do they also have other telekinetic or shooting abilities?
Powers. Yeah, they have different powers. Like they all have some sort of spider base movement or power. Like Maddie has the arms like Tom has in Homecoming and stuff. Not Homecoming, Far From Home, and then the Iron Spider suit. She has arms like that. Okay. And then Julia is just in her black and white suit that is very famous. And then Aranya has like discs that she throws. Funny enough, she's going to be playing Hawk Girl. So the whole time I was watching, I was just like, all right, we're going to get Hawk Girl. Cool.
But like the thing about this, though, it's like, was there a point based off of anything else you've seen in regards to Spider-Verse? Is there any point? Is there any connection? Because let's be honest here. I am not. I will probably watch New Mutants, which I have not still watched before I'm going to watch this film.
This movie takes place in the Spider-Man Sony universe in 2003. It doesn't connect to anything that I can think of. There's no reference to Venom or Morbius or anything like that. You are watching Ezekiel just try and hunt these girls. And then you watch Madam Web, Cassandra Webb, kind of just try and help. But she's such a bitter person at the beginning that she's just kind of annoying. Like, when I'm watching the movie, and don't get me wrong, there's a difference between what Tony was doing in the Iron Man movies, where he's being a dick, and what she was doing in this movie, where she was just being cold and distant, and these young girls are telling her they're scared, or not telling her they're scared, but showing that they're scared because they're like, overdoing it with the like, oh, we can handle ourselves. And she does nothing to alleviate their fears. And if anything, I feel made it so much worse that they end up in bad situations because she doesn't communicate with them and they feel like she's abandoning them at times in the movie. And then there's just a lot of other silly things that were just so lazy. That as I was watching the movie, I just kept saying, I kept tripping. I kept being like, yo,
are you serious?
Yeah, dude. Jaws. It was constant.
Wow.
Like just over and over, because there's so many things they do in the film that while you're watching it, you're just like, but it's not even possible for you to do thing X, but we're just going to pretend. Like suspension of disbelief. I got it. I get it. These are spider people who hang from upside down with powers. I understand. Right. But when and I said this before, I said it with Titans. I'll never forget, and I always bring it up. In a world where fire doesn't burn paper, you're being ridiculous. And 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 in this movie, there's things like that where in a world where the cops aren't doing anything, but you're running around like blowing up stuff. This is a post 9/11 film. It's set in 2003. My buddy and I turned to each other at the end of the film and like, remember when we used to go to New York every year, and we went to New York in like 2004, 2005 after 9/11, and every subway station, like major subway stations, had armed police with machine guns and dogs.
It's been a very long time since I've been to New York. I didn't go back after.
I went.
Sadly.
In 2000.
Shout out to my fam. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll come back.
2004, 2005. I went to New York.
Makes sense.
The version of New York I saw was a New York that was still dealing with the repercussions of what happened on 9/11, and it was very sad to see. But you could
It was like the movie The Siege, huh?
Yeah. It's just you had, dude. You literally
something that you thought was like, that's absurd. That would never happen, and you're like, oh man.
Nope. Times Square, multiple cops with machine guns and dogs just hanging out in the subway station, and you are walking into the subway station trying to act normal because you don't want to alert that, like you don't want to freak them out because you're being skittish, but they have assault rifles and dogs. So I'm like looking at this, like, I'm just going to go this way because I just felt uncomfortable. And people are just like, well, if you didn't do anything, you don't have to worry. Sure, but I'm not comfortable around German Shepherds trained to attack because they might think someone has a weapon or might hurt people. So when you're watching the movie and the cops are depicted as being so poorly organized, not doing anything multiple times, I just got a sense of, I get that the movie wants to skip over this. They don't want to remind people of that because they don't want to live in that moment. But you can't set a movie in that era and then just deny a major part of what was happening in New York because it doesn't make sense for the story. There's like, dude, at one point, one of the characters travels out of country while they're wanted. No, and they don't show us what happens. The character just says, I have to leave. And then the next shot is the character in another country. There's no airport scene, no nothing. And I was like, I guess, but like, dude, how did you get out of the country? Did you hide in a crate? Like, like, anyways.
But is this, and I don't want to sound sexist or nothing with this.
And don't say it. If you're worried it's going to sound sexist.
No, but is it like there are good actresses in this film, but they so happen to be all like very attractive women. Is this like just a Spice Girls movie, but they bring on Spider-Man on it? Like, I'm curious. Like, did they treat it with respect? That's what I'm trying to ask.
No. There's a scene. There's like scenes where, and I mean, it's not very long, but Sydney Sweeney's character is dressed like Britney Spears in "Oops, I Did It Again" for like most of the movie in like a short skirt with the. And no, don't get me wrong. If a character can dress like that, it's fine. Yeah. But like they did things like, and it's very quick. But you shot a scene of them leaving a subway station from a low angle so that as she climbs the stairs, you see under the skirt for a second. And I remember thinking, like, why didn't you just cut before they got to that angle? Like, and then there's another scene where people are like, the three girls are dancing. They get Sydney Sweeney's character to tie up her shirt to show her stomach, and the three girls start dancing on a table for a bunch of boys. And I'm like, okay. Like,
well, that's disrespect. That's not just disrespect to the actresses, weird. In my opinion.
I don't. It's not a fact of, I don't think it's disrespect as much as it's just very lazy to do that. It's very lazy to be like, these are attractive women and this is what people are going to want, because I really do not understand why the characters were dancing on the table. They were
distracting somebody or anything. It was just I want a Coyote Ugly scene here, and I'm gonna throw it in here.
Or like a spy moment where like we need to distract so one of us else does something. I mean.
No, So they're in a diner. You find out that one of the characters does have money, so they're trying to eat because they haven't eaten in a while, and then for some reason they have Sydney Sweeney's character Julia. They're like sexing her up, where they're tying her shirt up for her stomach. They're taking off her glasses. Then Maddie goes over to the guys is sitting in the booth with them, and then Britney Spears starts playing, and she's just like, "This is my song," and she gets up on the table, and she's wearing a crop top with her stomach revealed, and she's wearing like low-rise pants, so you can see her Hanes underneath, and then she pulls Sydney Sweeney up to dance with her, and then Isabella, who plays Aranya, they like tell her to come over, and they pull her up on the table, and then all three of them are kind of coyote uglying on the table while these what look like football players watch, and they're like hooting and hollering, and I still have no clue what the point of that scene was.
But
I truly do not understand what that scene was just there to lead to another moment, and I don't understand why they did it that way. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is. I mean, we know that, and it's unfortunate that it's literally still the saying, but sex sells, and they've been saying that since I was a child, and it's now 2024, and that is still the way I feel some people look at it. Now, if you're going to tell me that those girls were empowering themselves in that moment, sure. I truly do not see it, and I understand that as a man, I am probably looking at this through the male gaze, and I do not understand the use of that scene. That's me. I hope I can talk to someone who sees it and they can explain it to me, and I'm wrong, but I truly do not understand why they needed that. But I will say, third act, fun fict.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
I
like the third act.
But the Ezekiel Sims, right?
Yeah,
I've never heard of that. Is he an actual bad guy?
From what I understand, I actually haven't heard of the character either. Skinny was saying one time when we were on the show that he's not a villain. He's kind of just another spider person, but they decided to use him in this movie as a villain. So it is what it is. I mean,
again, Sony verse whatever.
Yeah, ultimately, I mean, I know there's a YouTuber that I like who got invited to the premiere, and she interviewed the director, and then she said, my integrity almost got put into question because I got the hookups, I got the connects to get to the screening to interview the director, but I have to tell you the truth, it is not a good movie. And then she starts to explain why she doesn't like the film. And I was just like, okay, I mean, respect. You probably will not get invited back to a Sony screening but we'll see. Maybe Sony will take the criticism and acknowledge, oh, we didn't really hit the mark with this, but
I mean, if that
was the case, you wouldn't have made it because of.
Yeah. Sorry, Jaws.
This is the third movie in this universe.
Yeah, because we have
the fourth
Venom, Morbius.
Venom,
two Venoms. Yeah.
Yeah, and Venom was okay as long as you Venom was good, just like how X-Men 1 was good. X-Men 1, if you just decide screw all the relationships and screw all the ages and not take any of that into consideration, it's good. Venom was only good if you're like, okay, if we could imagine a version of Venom without Spider-Man, sure. And then it's been nothing but Morbius was genuinely bad.
Yeah.
Enter Carnage or whatever was pretty.
Yeah, my buddy said to me, he's like, I think I like Morbius more than this, and I was just like, I don't know, dude, because Matt Smith in that film, like I like Matt Smith, but he's so bad in Venom in Morbius, and Leto is, doing his best, and there's some cool elements to how the character's depicted, flying through the city and stuff like that, but ultimately the movie is not very good. Hit me, Dave.
Are you trying to say to me right now, that this movie, in comparison of how good it is, the debate is whether or not Morbius it's better or not better than Morbius, and that's a genuine conversation?
No. My buddy just said he preferred Morbius to this film because he found Morbius had more of a story, whereas this movie felt like it's just people hunting people.
So this movie turned into definitely whenever I'm on a flight and I have nothing else to watch and it's on the flight.
Sure. I mean, go ahead. Check it out. I would say if you don't have anything else to watch, you're on a flight, you want a 6-inch screen, do it.
Question.
Yep.
Lift or this movie?
Oh, no, I would still watch this over Lift. I don't like Lift.
I just needed to know.
That's
something fair. Of a fresh reference of comparison.
Like I said, for me, I know my buddy didn't feel the same, but the third act, I actually like the third act. Like I like when there's like something that starts off the third act that I thought was stupid, but everything after that, I was just like, oh, this is kind of fun. But it was too little too late because you gave me 2/3 of a movie that didn't make sense to lead up to that moment. So sadly, but that it is what it is. Dave, you want to hit us with some Scott Pill?
Yeah, so I finally got a chance. I had reviewed it, the first 2 or 3 episodes a little while ago. I got delayed and finally got to see the rest of the Scott Pilgrim. Very different compared to the movies, but I forget. Is Josh, are you the one who said you read the comic books or read the?
Yeah.
So in the comic books, this is the bad guy of Scott Pilgrim eventually the older version of Scott Pilgrim?
I don't think so. No, I think
Okay,
it
so then this is
how the old movie, how the original movie ends. It's they end up getting together, and then that's the end of that.
So the
But
end
I heard the show is a little bit different. It kind of changed it up a little bit.
Like little spoilers, and it's only so that people could understand the context. So spoilers alert right now. Ultimately, what ends up happening is that in this movie, in this iteration, you think Scott gets killed, and then they eventually decipher the concept that he's taken away, and then everyone still thinks it's one of the evil X's. And then he goes to you find out that he actually got dragged into the future because his older self, for whatever reason, was having issues with Ramona in the future, and they seem to have broken up. He's all depressed and stuff. He gets them shot back into this time, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna like live my best life because screw my old version of myself is dumb." They start trying to kiss, and then they cannot kiss. Like there's a force field. So again, they're like, "Oh, maybe it's one of the evil X's." They approach the evil X's, and then they find out that it's the older version of Scott Pilgrim. Basically, gave him like this nanobot drink type thing so that him and Ramona can't kiss. And then it's all the X's, Ramona and Scott Pilgrim, that go against the older version of him. With a bit of oddness of time, like because there's time travel in it. It's a little weird, but overall, pretty entertaining. The fight scenes all the way to the end, fairly good. The episode where where you find out where he's been, that's the one episode where you're kind of like, I wouldn't say it's hard to follow, but you're like, it's getting a little bit beyond the sense of disbelief. You know what I mean? But amazing music, amazing. I enjoy the ultimate ending of the show and how they cap it off and how they conclude the fight with everyone. And just overall, kudos to all the actors who decide to say, we really liked making the movie, so we're all going to lend our voices. I do think those acting abilities and voices really, it made it go from like, oh, this is a good anime to like, this is a good animated feature. And for it to be like, because like, there's obviously like some legends out there with like Kevin Conroy, Optimus Prime, all those voice actors and whatnot. You watch a movie with one of them, it's going to be great. But there are plenty of animated movies where it's like, or films or shows where you're like, like it was good, but like, where there was lacking in this and that, and everyone brought their voice A game onto it. So in that regard, I thought it was great.
I think with this particular movie, I was gonna say with this particular animated feature, animated show, or what have you, miniseries, all the actors that were in the movies, I think they're kind of just starting out and everything, and I think they said they really had a lot of fun on this set, and all of them were just like, yeah, let's come back. Oh, we don't have to act, we don't have to do any crazy choreography or anything. Right. Sure, let's do it. I'm down. I am there, and I think if Edgar Wright does anything with that crew or with most of those people, I'm sure they would be down to go. I know, before anyone really knew who Brie Larson was, she was one of his exes.
Yeah,
she's the singer. She's the one that's in
really?
The
I didn't know
that. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Overall, would suggest to watch it. It's a fun, quick 8-episode thing.
Yep,
it's a good show.
Cool. Let's hit you with that geek news and rumors. Geek news and rumors. I actually didn't have a lot of geek news and rumors today, but we did have one. Amazon Video ad tier sparks class action lawsuit from subscribers. Ooh. So I don't know if you guys, I've been watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Prime, and I knew that they were going to be coming with ads in January, end of January, beginning of February, I believe, January 26th, if I'm not mistaken. And I started watching because I finished Reacher, and I was worried that they were going to start adding the ads while I was watching Reacher, and they didn't. And then I got to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and as I'm watching it, you're getting ads at the beginning, and it says to you, this presentation will be ad free after this message. And I was just like, oh, you son of a. So supposedly some people were pretty upset about that because, and I'm sure Prime has their contract really solid. They wouldn't make this change without knowing that they have the legal support and legal backing. So we'll see how this goes. But people are just like, well, I signed a contract and I paid for a free service for a year. And midway through the service, you're now telling me it's not free. I have to get it with ads and pay an extra $3 to have it be like it was before. So like,
yep.
Like
I'm sure in their
does make sense.
contract,
yeah,
they say something to like the extent of subject to change,
of course,
you know, according to us when we feel like it, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I assume that the consumer like watchdog groups are considering this because there's a good chance. I mean, I don't see this going anywhere. But they're probably,
I mean, when you're smashing accept,
Right.
you're ignoring that one part, and it's either opt in wholly or you opt in out or you opt out.
And that's the thing. Like I was watching Landscapes of Without Hands. I'm trying to remember the name of that movie. Landscapes with Invisible Hands. So that's a film on Prime, and it's about these kids who live on Earth, and now Earth has been visited by aliens, and the aliens are like capitalist, but they have better tech, so they're doing business with humans, but no one can compete with them. So they have like wealthy people living on their flying cities, but everyone else has to stay on the ground, and they're essentially just destroying. Like they keep making it seem like they're helping, but they're not really helping. They're just, you know, they'll hire people to. The whole movie is about the fact that these two characters want to make money, and you can broadcast to the aliens with these little nodes that you put on your head. And the aliens are into courtship because courtship doesn't exist on their planet. So if you can court someone and be a couple that records the relationship, they will watch it and you will make money like YouTube. And then at one point, one of the characters, well, the two characters that are doing this get sued because they fall out of love, and the aliens are just like, oh, you're faking it, and we know you're faking it, so you have to give us back all the money. And then he goes to his mom, who's a lawyer, and the mom reads through the contract, and the mom's just like, you didn't read this? Like, this says they can do this. And he's just like, no one reads that. And it just made me think, like, it's funny that Prime has a movie saying that while they are now running ads, and people are trying to start a class action lawsuit specifically because people are like, oh, you didn't read that part where we're allowed to just add this stuff?
But the reason they make the EULA, the user agreement, stupid long is because they know no one's going to read it.
I know.
And I know there's supposed to be, I think there's more laws in the EU to kind of like mitigate that, to be like, hey, like that's ridiculous. If someone doesn't want to do it because they read the whole thing and literally says like it's not in their favor, then why would they use your service?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know, man. I guys, it's a weird world.
Mad world.
What's not weird is that Deadpool, since we don't have any much rumors, that Deadpool 3 trailer or Deadpool and Wolverine or Wolverine and Asshole, as Hugh Grant posted it.
Right.
Great trailer. I'm not going to watch any other trailers because I always put only like the sneak peek trailer, so to speak.
The teaser,
the teaser. Won't lie, the first 2 seconds into it made me immediately concerned. Like, why are all these people back? I was super happy to see Shatterstar alive, though. I won't lie to that. But then when they took them out and put them in the TVA, I was like, so my prediction was right. They're going to use Deadpool. It was always going to be Deadpool that's going to like really put the universes back together. I said that when I was like, I thought it was going to be Deadpool who would do it. He's the one who would make more sense because he's going to be able to break the fourth wall. And like, he even starts it right away. It's like, what was his joke?
He's the Messiah of the MCU.
Yeah.
Messiah of the MCU. But he also he took a jab at Disney, and he's
like, the pegging?
Yeah, the pegging thing.
Yeah.
And I was there and like, okay, so this is the best way to try and answer. I'm hoping that it's gonna be fan service for Wolverine and Deadpool.
Right.
I'm hoping it's gonna bridge this gap so you could like speed up and not have like 5 movies to be like merging it over. Like this movie can make it so that they can completely jump into that after credit scene of the Marvels. And I'm also hoping, based off of some other rumors that I heard, that this will also restart the X-Men in the sense of like they could be proper who they are. They could recast them, because even when you look at Kelsey Grammer's Beast, the one thing that was always noticed is like you CGI'd him. He looks younger than when he looked like back when they did X-Men 3. And you put in a voice is just a voice, right? It doesn't matter. So
yeah,
I'm really excited for that. Almost made me as giddy as the last Airbender teaser trailer. I do find this is the year that the comic gods are spoiling me personally with what's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Between Avatar, this, and X-Men 97, but looking very much.
Yeah, we're getting Avatar in next week.
The 22nd, right? I'm gonna double check that right now because I know
Avatar the Airbender, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 22nd.
Yeah, because you have Bad Batch, which is next week.
Yeah.
Wow. And do we know where the live action Last Airbender? Do we know where it's streaming?
It's Netflix.
It's Netflix.
Yeah.
So again, super happy that it's relatively easily accessible, and just cannot wait.
Real quick, I can give this update. Bob Marley's One Love headed to the midweek Valentine's Day opening record of 12 million. Madam Web is spinning at 5 million. So that's the update.
I actually want to see that movie too. That the
One Love?
Yeah, it's called One Love. I thought it was Legend or something.
Or no, Bob Marley One Love.
Yeah, that one looks like it's also
Legend. I think Legend's another
Legend's
like
the album.
a documentary or something like that.
Okay.
On Bob Marley.
Yeah, guys, that's the whole show. It's a little bit short, but it was sweet. Short and sweet. I mean, I could have ranted about Madam Web more, but I felt like that would just be annoying.
Then you're just giving it money at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so bad. I gotta
the attention it doesn't deserve.
Facts. All right, boys. Another one in the bank. It was always been fun. As always, we want you guys to follow us on social media at Geek Cypher on all the socials. And we also recently created a YouTube channel. So you can go to youtube.com/@GeekCypher. And that's going to be an archive of our older stuff. So I've been posting up episodes. We do this show live every Wednesday from 7 to 8:30. But then we also have all the archive stuff that's going to be playing on Saturdays at 11 a.m. So you can follow that on Twitch. That's going to be twitch.tv/GeekCypher. And then once they've aired on Twitch, they'll be available on the archive site. I mean, also shout outs to the people who've been checking out our shorts, because I've been posting the shorts and I knew shorts did better, but significantly better than some of the videos that we post. So it's been really fun to have those shorts recently, like make numbers, which, it's kind of fun. People are commenting too. I guess people really do like to just scroll through all social medias like TikTok now. Reels, TikTok, shorts. That's just the way people like to consume stuff. So if you're watching this clip right now on shorts or on Reels, thank you.
And shout out to all, just because it is the day of days, shout out to Valentine's Day. And specifically, I think we should give a shout out to all of our lovely ladies, because they allow us nerds of all days to still podcast without much headache to be on this day of days. And just because my wine gave me something pretty cute, which also represents us. She gave us in Lego form. Which
I love that.
For anyone who knows us, we one of the things we got over with was Lego, and she gave us this thing. I love you to pieces. So, baby, love you. Thank you so much.
Awesome, guys. That's the end of the show. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure to follow us on social medias at Geek Cypher. Peace, y'all.
Peace.